the words that you must know. If you know these words, you can speak English fluently. Once you know them, you are able to speak them. I have a mother of all vocabulary video. So you are going to learn 250 advanced new vocabulary words with pictures. Hi everyone, my name is Shalima and welcome back to my another session of learning English and improving your English speaking skills with me. So I have the mother of all vocabulary videos for you today. When we say the mother of something, it means the biggest or the best examples of something. The most important in this video, you are going to learn 250 advanced new vocabulary words with pictures. So this is going to be amazing. If you are a visual learner, I am a visual learner. I like seeing things and knowing the words and making the connection in my brain. This is probably one of the longest vocabulary video I have ever done. It contains so much information I have included. The pronunciation, information, examples in context. I explain the meanings and further as well, it's really going to help you to expand your vocabulary. If that is something that you are looking to do, I know a lot of you. You are looking to expand your vocabulary, to take what you already know and make it bigger and better to make yourself feel and sound more intelligent by using a wider vocabulary. So now I am going to break this video into categories. I am going to show you a picture and we are going to discuss three synonyms for what is shown in the picture. And so let's start the category number one, that is emotions. Something that we all have unless a robot is watching this video. I mean, it is possible. So we are going to look at the photo. We are going to think of the word that describe how the person is feeling in that photo. Okay. And then we are going to discuss three more advanced alternatives. First photo. How would we describe this person? I think angry, but we have three better alternatives. Enraged. Tom became enraged when the agent couldn't solve this problem. We also have furious. Furious. He was already furious and couldn't help but yell into the phone. Furious. Finally, livid. This is the top level of anger, the most extreme form of anger. The agent's response to his problem only made him more livid. We have all been there, haven't we? Are calling customer service and they just aren't helping. Okay, now next let's look this photo. Oh dear, she's sad. We have melancholy. Now melancholy refers to the feelings of sadness, but often with no obvious cues. An example: Maria had been feeling melancholy since graduating college. We also have glum. Glum. This is like feeling down, okay? She could not stake the glum. And the next one is sorrowful. For example, you are full of sorrow, which is a kind of advanced, slightly old-fashioned word for sadness, okay? Well, lots of people can relate with Maria. We often do feel the sort of melancholy sadness after finishing a big chapter of our lives. What do we do next? Okay, next we have someone looking at some fireworks. So we are going to describe how the fireworks made that person feel. An obvious word, the word is interesting. Okay, the fireworks are interesting, they are capture my interest, but we could also say mesmerizing. Oh, so what a gorgeous word. The firework was mesmerizing. It was her first winter in her new town. The firework of the winter carnival were mesmerizing. Another equally beautiful word is captivating. Captivating your attention and your interest. She stood there frozen in their captivating beauty. And finally, another gorgeous one, spellbinding. Spellbinding, as it binds you or phrases you with a magic spell. She went home that night and replying the spellbinding event of that evening. Now next we have this girl here. She doesn't look happy, does she? She is, in fact, she looks bothered or in a bad mood. A nice synonym for this is Grumpy. Grumpy. And if you like Disney films, guys, this is the name of one of the dwarfs from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The one who is always in a bad mood is grumpy. Okay, for example, Kim claimed she wasn't grumpy despite her obvious body language. Now we also have crabby. Crabby. Okay, think of a crab. They are not exactly friendly, are they are, they could pinch you a bit pinch. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was the lack of sleep that made her crabby, okay, or something I have done. And finally we have the next word is cranky. Cranky, this is usually grumpiness or a bad mood due to a lack of sleep. We took a quick walk along the canal and I could see that she was no longer cranky. And the opposite, we have this person. I often feel the same when I see pills of leaves. Happy. Okay, happy. But we have some better words. So for the better word, the number one is cherry. Cherry, in the good mood. The leaves had begun to fall and a cherry mood swept in with the autumn breeze. We also have the next word is elated. Elated. If you are so happy about something, you are elated. For example, James was elated by the sights and smells in the park. I do love the smell of autumn. Gleeful. Do you remember sorrowful or full of sorrow, gleeful, or gleeful of glee, happiness? The beauty of autumn made her gleeful. Okay, okay, guys. Now we have a little boy hiding under his bed, and he's feeling afraid. So we have some better words for this little boy. Okay, we have fearful. Okay, fearful. Fearful means, for example, Jerry is very, very fearful of thunder during storms. It's funny, I was afraid of thunder as a child, and now I love it. We have alarmed. This is also like a sudden fear, almost the fear you feel when a fire alarm goes off. Okay, so you feel alarmed. Okay, suddenly scared and worried. He gets extremely alarmed and likes to hide behind his bed. Okay, now the next word is rattled. Rattled, this is like the shock that you feel after having been scared. We try to calm him. We have to just try to calm him down, but it's difficult when he is so rattled. Okay, now this poor man is feeling upset. He's feeling upset, but now we have some better ways to describe his emotions here. Okay, we have distressed. Distressed, he couldn't hide his distressed face, or agitated. He was agitated, but he wouldn't let on what was bothering him. To let on something is to let people know about something. Okay, so he wouldn't let on to why he wouldn't let us know. Okay, why? And finally, the unsettled. Unsettled, okay, this is the opposite of being at ease. Settled, okay, unsettled, not to ease. He just, for example, he just sat there feelings unsettled until the meeting was over. Okay, so let's move on to traits. These can be personality traits. Okay, the traits of activities and solutions. The first picture, these people are friendly, but we couldn't also say sociable. Okay, my, for example, my dad has always been a sociable guy. He likes to talking with other people. He likes to interact, and you can be friendly. You also can say hello to someone warmly but not stop for a chat. We also have tender. Tender, this is more kind, warm. He has tender way of dealing with people. Okay, and makes friends whenever he is. Now the next word is affable. Affable, this is also good natured, easy to talk. Okay, he is affable and caring, and I am proud to call him dad. Okay, let's think about how this person feels their situations is boring. Boring, but the word is boring is. So let's think of some more interesting alternatives. We have dull. Dull, now if you think of the word dull, it means the little color or a little light with little interest. It's dull, okay? It's gray and boring. It's not that I don't like school, it's just that it can be so dull. Now the next word is drab. This is a synonym for dull, and we sit in our classes with drab textbooks and listen to uninteresting lectures. And finally, the next word is tedious. This means also boring, slow, monotonous, making you tired. I just find all of it's tedious. This is true. I absolutely hated school. I wish I could be one of those people who says, "Ah, school is amazing. I love it." I have such fond memories, guys. Okay, now next we have this little boy. He doesn't look so friendly. Okay, does he? In fact, he looks pretty. Means he doesn't look like he's ready to play nicely with the other childrens. Okay, we have bitter. We can use the word bitter. If you are in a bad mood, okay, you are bitter. If you are really cross about something, okay, for example, Johnny talked excitedly about going to the playground all week. However, he quickly turned bitter when he saw that the swings were closed. Okay, now the word is disgruntled. And no, disgruntled means no longer wanted to ride his bike, or finally, venomous. If you think of venom, the venom forms as snakes. It's snacky. This means full of hatred or a bad feeling. He yelled out venomous word, as you know children often do in these situations. Okay, now next picture we have someone looks very brave, a fighter. Instead of saying brave, we could say courageous. Okay, we could say courageous. For example, he puts his life on the line each day he goes to work. If you put your life on the line, your life is at risk. And we have the next word is gallant. The gallant, he doesn't ask for praise, or his gallant efforts often go unnoticed. And finally, we have daring. Daring. And this is neither less his during job calls him to new challenges each day. Okay, so let's look that girl, and that being hugged, that she must be likable. People must like her, easy to like. We have, you can use the word revered. This is a lovely word that makes Candence such a good friend. Is it her revered, bubbly personality? We also have enviable. Enviable, and in most situation, this is positive to be envied. Okay, enviable. I think it's her enviable smile that always makes me feel comfort. And the next word is admirable. Admirable, to be admired. She also listens without judgment, which is admirable. Okay, next picture, someone is making everyone laugh. They must be funny. It could also say amusing. Okay, the word is amusing we can use. And they amuse, for example, they amuse me. Burden is so amusing. Next is hilarious. This means very funny. He tells the most hilarious stories, and he is full of jokes. Finally, the next one is comical. For example, he has such a comical way of speaking that always makes us laugh. Look at this picture, climbing such a steep ledge. She must be adventurous. Instead of adventurous, we could say bold. This is like a mixture of adventurous and brave. Okay, people often describe, for example, Jana as bold because of her thrill seeking ways. If you are a thrill seeker, you seek thrills. We also have intrepid. If you are intrepid, you are brave. You are not afraid of danger or difficulties. Okay, we often describe people as being intrepid. Explores, it goes hand in hand with adventurous. For example, she is definitely intrepid. I couldn't do half the things she does. And finally, the next word is audacious. Audacious. I love saying that word. I saw that she was rock climbing in Bali last week. I hope to be audacious one day. Okay? Now here we have someone riding a bike dressed as he dressed a big bird from Sesame Street. You could say this behavior is strange. It's not normal. He could call it, peculiar. Peculiar. My boss had the peculiar idea of dressing up as a big bird of a cycling race. And we also have bizarre. Bizarre. He showed up in a bizarre customer costume ready to cycle for 50 kilometers. Sounds dangerous. And finally, we have the word uncanny. Uncanny. Uncanny means strange, hard to explain. It's, that's kind of uncanny thinking that sets him apart, to set someone apart, to make them different. Now we are done with another category. Let's move on to the sensations. Oh, I love this picture. Oh, I love this picture. And it describes our first sensation, tired. The dog and then man are tired. Instead of just saying tired, we can say blurry eyed. Blurry eyed. You know that sensation when you wake up and your eyes, you can't see, properly. You are blurry eyed. For example, Rex and Ari went for a morning run. It was so early that Ali was blurry eyed. I like to think that Rex is the dog and Ali is the human. Okay, now next we have weary. He felt weary as he walked back to his flat. He also have groggy. It's that sort of unwell, not ill, but unwell feeling. You really need to sleep, or you are not quite at full capacity mentality or physically. For example, Ali fell into his bed as groggy as ever. Willis Rex lay, okay, and they're waiting for this next adventures. Now this girl's feeling, apart from elated having such delicious food, she's probably feeling hungry. Even better would be to say famished. So she hadn't eaten anything on the 10 hours flight. Have a joke for you. Why shouldn't you eat the meals served on airplane? Because the food's too plain, and plain is short for aeroplane. Word packish. Packish. This is where you want to pick things, and you don't feel really hungry, but you could eat. You'd like to, to eat. Oh, for example, I feel packish. Does anyone feels packish? I'd like to eat something. Packish didn't begin to describe how she, felt when she arrived at the night market. So when she was more than packish, she was famished. So you could also say ravenous. And she wanted to eat and she was ravenous by the time she bit into her, doseta. Okay, now this is a poor person feeling ill, and we could also say that they are, we describe the feelings when you want to vomit, you want to be sick, or for example, my aunt woke up this morning feeling nauseous. We also have, queasy. This is the feeling of uneasy, especially in your stomach. Okay, she had a queasy feeling in her stomach and couldn't get out of bed. And finally, feverish. This is to feel too hot, like you have a fever. As a result of being unwell, she felt feverish. So she lay in a bed all day, allowing her body to rest. Now next we have this boy studying at the library and doesn't get, he feels, confused. So we could also say, in place of confused, we can say befuddled. This is such a good word, befuddled. The new engineer was befuddled by all the softwares he needed to use. We could also say foggy. If your brain isn't clear, it has fog in it, like the weather. The weather that impedes your view, like you are in a cloud. Or if your brain feels foggy, you could be confused, or you could find it hard to remember things or use your knowledge. Anything he had learned in a training was foggy in his mind. Finally, this one's very British, baffled. Confused, we use it in a sarcastic way. For example, if I failed an exam that I didn't study for, I might say, well, I'm baffled. I just don't know why I didn't pass. He hopped around from program to program, baffled by what he needed to do. He was confused. Okay, so let's move on to the colors. And this one is great because I think at school we learn red, orange, yellow, pink, blue, but sometimes you don't learn the more interesting shades of colors, right? So now I am going to show you the colors and then discuss the different ways that we can talk about them. Okay, so let's start with this color. This is a black. Okay, we could also say inky, inky, like ink. Okay, which is normally black. For example, Brad noticed the sand near the volcano was inky and resembled oil. We also have raven. Raven. This is the color of that bird that's like a crow, a raven. Okay, it's often slightly more blue. It's black with a hint of blue. He was tired for, walking and laid down on the raven shore. Finally, onyx, onyx, like the stone. He closed his eyes and became one with the onyx and landscape. These are the great words to use if you are interested in creative writing and you don't want to say black, black, black over and over again. You can use these alternatives. Okay. Now, next, poppies are red. You could also say crimson, crimson. This is a deep red. For example, my mom and I love to collected crimson flowers in spring. And alternative, you can use scarlet. Scarlet. This is a brighter red. She loves the scarlet hue of the petals as the sun passes through. Sun makes them a brighter red. They are more scarlet. And finally, we have ruby. This is a dark red. And the jewel, this is not ruby, this is a spare, but they are in the same family. I think I prefer the ruby buds just before they bloom, and colors very dark and concentrated. It's a ruby red. Next, let's talk about the sky. It's blue. Don't ask me why I can't tell you that I can teach you English through, instead of saying blue or spire. This type of jewel normally, spires are a lot darker than them than this one. Okay, but we fell in love with a lighter, spire. But normally it's darker, a dark blue. But when we noticed the sky had turned a beautiful spire, we also could say denim. Denim, the color of jeans we pulled into admire the denim clouds. And finally, navy. This is a navy dark blue. The navy mountains in the distance looked as if they were from another planet. So now let's look at this setup. It makes me nervous. I would definitely spill the coffee. That white, and alternative white is a cream, and this is like warm white, okay, with a little bit of yellow added in, just a tiny bit, but it makes it much warmer than white. There is nothing better than curling up in my cream colored blanket. We also have pearl. This is white with a bit of shimmer. We have off white. If we have normal bright white, off white just has a little bit more gray in it. It's not quite bright. He never forget to use the off-white tray he brought for me. Next color of my laptop, yellow. I can't say this room in the picture. This is to my style. There we can say canary. Canary, the color of that smell, yellow bird, canary yellow. Okay, it's a bright yellow. I have found memories of my grandmother's house, especially the canary yellow tablecloth she used to use. We also have amber. I would say this is more orange than yellow, but it's not bright orange. It's like an orange yellow brown. It's the color of that stone that's made from ancient resin. The walls of her kitchen were amber, scattered with beautiful artwork. And finally, buttery. Guys, buttery resembling the yellow color of butter. For example, she never cleaned her windows, so a buttery light shone through, creating an inviting atmosphere. This word is quite positive and warm and comforting. If something's buttery, then the next we have this picture of a forest in the autumn or in a fall. as they say in America, American autumn in British. As we can say in America, autumn, in British English, it's brown. We could also say cinnamon, like the color of spice. This is like, redder brown, more red. Cinnamon leaves covered the ground like the carpet. We also have ochre. Ochre trees would wouldn't show sign of life for months. Finally, khaki. This is like a green brown, often used in the military for, camouflage. The khaki canopy kept the forest cool. And still, finally, the color of vegetation, green. Instead of green, we could say, emerald. This is a dark bright green like the jewel. We had a spire, ruby, emerald. My grandfather taught me how to garden. He showed me to look for emerald leaves because they were the most nutritious. Olive, like olive trees. This is like a gray green. Some of the younger spellings had olive stems. Spellings are some, small plants, very young ones. Their color wasn't developed, so they had, gray green stem. And finally, jade. This is a bright green color. It's like the stone. It's almost, turquoise. Sometimes I would pluck a few of the butterflies. And beautifully colored jade leaves the kale to snake on. Okay, so let's move on to the next category. We have the textures. Take a look at the picture, and in particular at the little girl Teddy. What must it feel like? Pretty soft. Instead of softy, you can say, dovney, velvety, with the feeling of velvet. However, it's not as velvety as it once was. Finally, we have silky. This is smooth and soft. For example, she likes stroking the label because it's like silky. Now we have this picture. It's showing a car driving on a rough terrain, a rough road. Instead of rough, you could say rutted, 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 with a lots of dips and bumps in it. Bill and Hannah are testing to see how well their camper will handle and rutted roads of the outback. Camper is short for, crampon. You could also say bumpy. The bumpy terrain is going to be, challenging or challenge. You could also say, pitted pitted with lots of holes or pits in it, and they will stay away from the most pitted areas to avoid damage to van. Okay, the next picture, we have someone ice skating, and we can call ice a smooth surface, no bumps, not rough. Instead of smooth, we could say sleek. If someone's hair, looks very smooth, we often call it sleek hair. Okay, in this case, Alexandra wishes the ice was sleeker before beginning her routine. Okay, we could also say glassy, another word that's used in the beauty industry. She had a glassy complexion. Okay, shiny, smooth, perfect. Whenever she practiced, she ensured the rink was glassy without any imperfections. Finally, we can say polished, as if someone has polished it, they have made it smoother, despite the eyes not being as polished as she would like. She performed well. Okay, so the next we have this picture, sharp. The mountain look sharp. We have, jagged with lots of sharp angles. Example, Rage had always dreamed of seeing the just yellow mountain. We also have pointed, with lots of points, and pointed rocks proved difficult as he climbed to the top. And we have, bristled with lots of points, as it was all worth it as he looked out over the, bristled landscape. Okay, so let's look at this picture. The top layer has lots of bubble. It's, bubbly. It is bubbly. We could also say effervescent. Pedro, it's obsessed with, coffee, especially the effervescent layer of milk on top. We also have, fruity. Rather than being just effervescent, this means that it's covered with a lots of layer of bubbles. Through he doesn't like all fruity drinks. He will drink coffee all day. Finally we have, foamy. Foamy, this is like, forty, but for the but with much smaller bubbles. It's almost like a creamy form. There's just something about a creamy foamy latte that drives him crazy. Okay, so next we have this picture. It shows chocolate, but it's being used as liquid. It's liquid chocolate instead of saying liquid, which could sounds a little bit strange. We have some better alternatives. We could say flowing. Flowing. Okay, there is flowing chocolate. It's a liquid moving continuously. Chef Pierre prepared his famous desserts with, flowing chocolate sauce. And we also have runny. Runny, if the chocolate runs, it's runny. Okay, we watched in amazement as the runny chocolate covered the, pastry. Now finally we have fluid. Fluid, the fluid river of chocolate had made our mouths watering, and we couldn't wait to dig in. Now next we have this word sticky. Sticky, her fingers must be sticky. Instead of sticky we could say gooey. Gooey, this is the sticky like glue. Ice cream is the perfect treat in summers, except when it melts into a gooey mess in your hand. Now next we have, and syrupy is like a syrup. Syrup is usually made from water and sugar to make thick, sticky liquid. You end up all syrupy, and serve it doesn't even help. Finally, we have tacky. Tacky. It's when you try to pull your fingers or something apart and it sticks for a moment. You have to put efforts in tacky. I end up looking for the nearest toilet to clear up the tacky mess. Next, we have this picture. These shoes are old and used. They are worn. Aside from that, we could say shabby. Shabby. Shabby, a bit old, okay? A bit tired of its use, worn. David's cousins always wears those shabby red shoes whenever he goes. We also have threadbare. We also have threadbare, and this is when something is so worn it's nearly got a hole. You can just see the last threads holding on. They are, completely threadbare, and they don't even have lace. Finally, we have frayed. Frayed, this is when, strings are stinking out because they have, broken. Typically you get frayed patches on your elbows and your knees. He claims this frayed. Vans are the most comfortable pair he owns, right? Okay, new category. We are moving on to age and time. Let's take a look at this picture. It shows young people. We can also say adolescent. Adolescent, this describes people that are, between their childhood years and their adult years. They are kind of in their teenage, okay, teenage years. It was my first year teaching adolescent children, and I was very, very nervous. Next, for example, we have youthful youth. On to the first day of youthful energy filled my classroom. Finally, we have juvenile. Juvenile, this is younger or acting in a young way. And if you tell someone they are acting in a juvenile way, it's probably an insult. Some of their behavior in journal, they were very good. Okay, quite the opposite. This photo old, we could also say elderly. Elderly, my father was an elderly man before I truly got to know him. Finally, he was, he we have getting on. If someone is getting on, they are getting on a bit. They are, getting older. He was really getting on, but he answered with a youthful spirit. All right, the next we have new shoes. Let's talk about alternatives for new. Firstly, we have, Preston. This is a new in perfect condition. Of my brothers just brought a pristine pair of shoes without a single mark on them. We also have mint. Mint, this means new and perfect. We often say mint condition, new unused perfect condition. He says he is not going to wear them because he wants to keep them in mint. Finally, fresh. Fresh. What's the point in keeping them fresh if he is not going to use them? Okay, so next we have this picture, buildings. Buildings that are very modern, very modern, and this world boring. Let's think of some better ones. We have present day. Present day. Okay, present day. Present day architecture often leaves something to be desired. We also have current architect. Create flashy designs that are current but have no real depth, no longevity. Finally, we have contemporary. I don't think these contemporary designs will stand the test of time. This man is on his bike and he's going fast. You could also say he is nimble. This means quick and agile. Agile Dimitri. Driver in center London, what makes him unique is that he uses his bicycle, not a motorbike. You could also say agile. Agile. Agile means able to move easily and therefore possibly quickly. He is agile and never misses a delivery. He also have a swift. This is a quick and without any issue. The swift movement he makes between the cars and the roads looks like a dance. He is, choreographed. He is choreographed. Next, we have this picture, and this person is relaxed. So instead of relaxed, you could say easy going. Okay, you could not describe my sister as going. I swear she's always in a hurry. You could also say, carefree. Carefree. Carefree is without any worries or care. However, she feels truly carefree when relaxing in a hammock on holiday. And we also have unhurried. Unhurried in a rush. It's these unhurried movement that she could truly decompress. Okay, next guys, now we have the next category, weather. I'm Indian. Did you really think I had make a vocabulary video and not include the weather? So let's talk about Indian people favorite topic, the rain. Instead of rainy, we could say drizzly. And this is annoying. Constant rain, it's not hard, it's just constant. It's known for, it's drizzly days. It's drizzly days. Could also say showery. These are short rain spells. We can weather spells periods of rain. However, a showery trip to India can be thoroughly enjoyable. We also have damp. If something is damp, you can feel water. It's wet, not soaking wet, just wet. Don't forget your umbrella on these damp days or you will regret it. You do. Next, we have this picture. There's a storm. It's a stormy. Next, instead of this, we could say inclement. It was sudden how the weather went from the sunny to inclement in a matter of minutes. You could also say ragging. If the sky seems angry because there's a storm, you could say ragging. We had to run for cover at the ragging winds began to whip around us, and finally turbulent. The turbulent clouds started to twist and darken as we drove away. And the next picture, we have her umbrella inside, but it's windy. But instead of windy, we could say blustery. This is a very common word. Abby, for example, Abby was shocked by the blustery weather. We could also say breezy. This implies a lighter wind, and on a hot day a breezy wind can be very welcome. Okay, she was used a breezy days back home, but this weather was much more intense. Finally, we have guys gusty. A gust of wind is a big force of a wind. So gusty lots of winds. The gusty weather broke her umbrella and she ended up sitting in her hotel room for the rest of the days. So now guys, next we have this picture. You can only do this when it is hot. Hot, instead of hot, you could say blazing. Blazing. It's if that sun is burning down. What does Christian like to do when it's blazing? Outside her, he likes to play with the sprinkles. We also have blistering. Blistering, if you think of when you get a sunburn, it can cause a blister. So can we talk about the blistering heat or sun? When the temperature is blistering, he knows it's time to go outside and have some fun. Finally, if something really hot, sweltering, it's a great way for him to cool down on sweltering. Summer days, next we have this picture. It could not, instead of frigid. Frigid. Our neighbor seemed to be love the frigid temperature or of winter. We could also say biting. Biting. This is so cold. That means that it seems to bite you or hurt you. It would put on his cotton hat and brave this bitten winds. Finally we have piercing. Piercing. Piercing implies painful. You can have a piercing nose. Piercing nose. Piercing wind. In this case, with weather, it means cold. It when never seemed to bother him, when even when the piercing cold temperature seemed to be freeze me to my core. Okay, next we have this picture. It's a beautiful day. It looks like it's warm. Instead of warm, you could say mild. Mild. This is a pleasant warm temperature, not too hot, not too cold. It's mild. It was the first mild day of autumn. You could also say temperature. Temperature of a good temperature. Okay. The temperature climate was perfect for a hike and picnic. Finally, you could say comfy. Comfy. It's a comfy. Means comfortable temperature. One could get lost roaming the hills, enjoying the comfy temperature. Next, lots of clouds in the sky. It's cloudy. It's cloudy. Instead of cloudy, a very common word is overcast. Overcast. They knew their trip, would be cut short when they saw the overcast sky if the sun is hidden due to the clouds. Now we also have dreary. Dreary. It's not a lot of light is getting through. It's dreary. Dull, the dreary day made for a long drive home. We also have gloomy. Gloomy. This implies depressing gray, whether due to the clouds and the lack of light. It wasn't long before the gloomy sky turned into a full downpour. Downpour. Downpour is heavy rain. Okay. Next we have this one, quite the opposite, no clouds. It is a clear sky. It's a clear, instead of clear, you could say cloudless. Cloudless. Without clouds, the cloudless sky seemed to stretch a miles. We also have bright. Bright. If there are not any clouds, the sun will shine brightly. It will be, bright day, a bright sky. A bright day meant the mood in town would be cheerful finally. So you can say sunny. This means a lot of sun, no clouds. There will be sun in the daytime. Everyone long for sunny days. Okay, today's video guys. So I think you like the video. If you like the video, so please give thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you are new on my channel, please subscribe it and do share with your friends too. So thanks for watching. Bye bye. Take care.